Grab your cup of coffee because it's time for a little inspiration. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning on this glorious Wednesday morning. I am so excited to be connecting with you guys because I feel like I'm going to get a connection to a warmer part of the world that is not buried in snow. We got another 8 inches last night. 8 inches of snow keeping me stuck at home, and grateful that I have the opportunity to work anywhere in the world that I am at that moment. Although I really wish that I was someplace a little bit warmer right now. So anyway, with that, I am so excited to have you guys join me here today for this conversation because this is a big one that I think a lot of people need to have, because I think it's so important that we start taking ourselves very seriously and start making some no-break promises with ourselves in order to take ourselves to that next level of success. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, I am Teresa Shalhoub with Web Designs by Teresa, and my mission in life is to fill the small business world with gorgeous websites that work as hard as you do. And I do this through teaching, website consultations, and full design work as well. And today I want to talk to you guys about building your website as a contract. Now, whether you are building your website yourself or you're having somebody do it for you, you want to have a say in the content that you have, and you want to have a say in how it's going to look, no matter how you get there. And this is part of what I want to talk about today, is making that content so powerful that it becomes a no-break contract with yourself, so that you are taking yourself to that next level of success that you know that you deserve. So let's go ahead and get started. And as I said, I want you to treat your website like a contract with yourself. Now, this is something that I say a lot, and I've been saying it a lot lately because it's something that's been a really powerful exercise for me when it comes to making sure I stay focused on how I've defined my business and not stepping outside of those lines where I'm going to start falling into making decisions that can hurt me in the long run. So just real quick, one of the things that I love doing in my work is that every day I get to work with solo entrepreneurs and small business owners, and I love working with them. Like, I don't work with bigger corporations. I don't work with by committee, because I want to work directly with the people that are here, that are in the trenches. And I do that because I see the drive and determination that entrepreneurs have, that the solo entrepreneur, the small business owner, like, it takes a lot of guts to fill into that role. It takes a lot of focus and determination to stay in that role. And it requires you to be able to hold your head high in those moments when everybody thinks you're completely crazy. And so that's why I love working with solo entrepreneurs. But I also see in the work that I do, I see the challenges that we are faced with that we wouldn't necessarily have if we were working for someone else. And in doing that, I notice these challenges have the ability to be a great benefit to us, or to maybe lead us on a path to ruin, which is something we really want to try to avoid. And one of the best ways I have found to avoid that is to turn my website into a contract with myself, a promise of who I am, what I do, how I do it, and when I'm available. And by doing so, I have really created some incredible boundary lines that have protected my business and helped me achieve levels of success I didn't know were within my reach. So grab your cup of coffee, grab a notepad if you want to take notes. I'm going to post a replay of this on my website later on today, like I always do. I'll also post it in LinkedIn in the blog feature there, so you can catch it in LinkedIn if we're connected there. So you have access. If you don't have a moment to grab a pen and paper, don't worry about it. I've got your back here. But if you do, this is a great time to do that. And then to also invite those friends that you think are going to benefit from this conversation, because it's a really powerful one. And I have some incredible tips that have really helped me take my business to an incredible level. And I want to see the same happen for you. So, talking again, let's about making your website into a contract. Now, just like any good contract, your website offers a level of structure and guidance that isn't just for your customers. A lot of times we look at the website as just a communication out to people who may find us and say, here's who I am and what I do and how I do it. But it's also a resource for ourselves to say, this is what I do, exactly what I do, this is when I'm available, and this is how I'm going to do it. And when we stay focused on that, when we stay focused on what we're going to be doing and how we're going to be doing it, we are creating structure and guidance in our business that protects us. So let's take that a little bit deeper. Now, the website, as I said just a moment ago, it shows the world what you do, when you're available, and how you're going to deliver your promises, your products and services. It may even go into the avenue of showing the value that you're going to offer with those products and services. You already know that this is going to happen. You already know this. We talked about this a little bit already, and I'm kind of repeating myself, but I'm just so excited about this topic that's why I'm kind of repeating myself. But here, I want you to imagine for just a moment that what would happen if you started delivering more than what you defined within the terms of your website? What would happen if you were available more often than you planned to be available? And what if you started offering discounts that you didn't plan to offer? In that situation, if that's the case, pretty soon you're going to start running out of resources. Whether those resources are time, money, services available, you're going to start running out of resources because you're delivering way more than you agreed to. And you're going to find it pretty hard to start delivering what it is that you originally promised your website visitors. That's the problem that I want you to avoid. So thinking about that, let's take a look at what it is that you do. And real quick, hey John, thanks for joining me here, and Crystal, it's always good to see you on our Facebook Live. Thanks for much for being here with me, guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at what it is that you do. So on your website, you have defined those products and services very clearly. This is what you're going to give those that purchase from you, whether it be a service that you are offering or a product that you send to them, whatever the case is. And you know the best way to deliver what you have to offer. Like, nobody knows it better than you do. You know the best way to do it. But as an entrepreneur, we often fall into one of two traps. We either over-deliver or we over-promise. Let's take a look at the over-delivering. We get a new customer or a new client, and we get so excited that we have this new customer or client that we start to give and give and give, hoping that we're going to offer just enough value to make them remember us, so that we are memorable, so that they come to us again and again and again and tell all of their friends about us. What happens is we're giving so much that pretty soon we are exhausting our resources, and we no longer have the time, the money, the products to continue giving at that level. And then we find it even more challenging to deliver what we promised. So now we don't have the time to continue doing what we have been doing, but we also don't hardly have the time or money or resources to deliver what we promised. And that's when we fall into the trap of under delivering what we've promised within our website. So here is how your website can protect you like a contract and with yourself, and make you realize that this is what you need to do. I want you to look at your product and service listing on your website to know that that is exactly what you are going to do. Nothing more and nothing less. Now, of course, you can build in some fun bonuses into what you deliver. That's all part of the how. I love to give little bonuses to my clients and customers, but that is defined before I deliver the bonus. If I am giving them these bonuses and these over-delivering extra things on the fly, I'm giving way too much, and I know that. So I define my little bonuses not on my website, but in my own documentation, and I just have that as part of the how I deliver. All right. Now, by doing this, by looking at your products and services as this is exactly what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do anything more. You are now giving yourself the opportunity to make the necessary arrangements to ensure that you can do that in the best possible way. And again, you're stopping yourself from over-delivering. You also see, when you look at that products and services page, that there is a limit to what you have promised. And this gives you the opportunity to keep things in perspective so that you're not over delivering and you're not constantly giving more and more and more. So that's one of the things that I say is to do when it comes to making your website a contract. Define your products and services as clearly as possible, and that's what you deliver, nothing more or nothing less. So with that, I want to now talk about the area of when you are available. So when you are available is another touchy subject with a lot of entrepreneurs, because we love the flexibility of being an entrepreneur. We love the fact that we are able to set our own business hours and to work any time of the day or night that is convenient for the life that we live. But as an entrepreneur, we also fall into the trap of often making ourselves always available or being way too flexible with our time off. So let's take a look at being always available. When we make ourselves always available, we have this idea that we have to be connected to our phones, our email, our social media platforms 24/7. And in the situation that we have a brick and mortar location, we feel obligated to open our doors to customers outside of our normal business hours sometimes. Now, I know a lot of people who have been in the business and have a location for a long time. You've gotten really good at those boundaries. But think about when you first started off, you would open the doors just because somebody knocked. If we aren't careful with this, we find ourselves really quickly feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. And by being always available, we are setting an expectation with our customers that we truly are always available. This gives us little to no downtime, and we just don't have time to do the things that we need to do or that we want to do. We don't have time for self-love and care. We don't have time for our family and friends. And we feel stressed out because we are always feeling needed by those around us. Now, I have had this too, and you guys have heard me talk about that multiple times, where I set this expectation that I was always available because I made myself always available. But on the flip side, once we've made ourselves always available, a lot of times we get so overwhelmed and exhausted, we go the extreme and we start being way too flexible with our time off. And we're taking off hours, half days, even full days, doing other non-business related things and not giving ourselves the time that we need to take care of the business that we have. And then we get stressed out because we're falling behind, we're missing deadlines, we're not able to deliver what we said. So here's how you can use your website as a contract on those business hours to protect yourself, to protect your time, and to set some really clear boundary lines. That is by setting your business hours and defining them on your website. Put them out there, and that is when you are available to your customers. These are my business hours. These are when I'm available. Don't respond, don't follow up, don't call unless it's during your normal business hours. That way you and your customers know when you're available, and you also know when you're not available, so you're setting clear expectations. The other thing is to schedule your admin time. Like, give yourself time to do those administrative tasks that are not in the normal working hours when your customers are going to need you, because you don't always know what needs are going to arise. And don't bring customers in to your admin hours. Set really clear boundary lines. Define your business hours on your website and make that a contract with yourself that you will always be available during those times. Of course, you can take off holidays. Of course, you can have a vacation, and you can document that on your website as well. I won't be available because I'm going to Costa Rica. That's okay. But make a contract with yourself of when you're available to customers and when you're not. Oh, Crystal, I agree. You are very lucky. Having clients that understand business hours then don't take advantage of that is really a powerful thing. But I think that goes back to the clear boundary lines that you yourself have set, because you don't make yourself available all the time. You have clear boundary lines, and I think that's really powerful, so that they know exactly what to expect from you. So very good job. You honestly, I admire the way that you have everything set up to make sure people are available with you. And it took me a long time to get to that place to where I was very clear about and had those clear boundary lines. So kudos to you. Now, the next one that I want to talk about here today is the value that you're going to provide. And this is a really, really big topic that honestly deserves its own post, its own video. And actually on Friday, this Friday, set your calendars for 10 a.m. this Friday, because I am going to be doing another Facebook Live with a business coach that I have done some work collaboration with, that she is just incredible. Linda Cazone, who is a success and leadership coach here in the Sioux Falls area, is incredible. And we are going to be talking about setting prices and setting a value for our products and services that is real, that gets us paid exactly what we deserve. So then we're not working for peanuts or working for nothing. I remember one job I actually did, I think by the time I figured out the hours I put into that website, I made $1.27 an hour. So we're going to talk about that on Friday. But for the purposes of today's chat, I still want to talk about the value that you provide. And today I'm just going to make the assumption that you have already defined what is a very good, fair price for you and your customers, so that they are getting a good value and you are getting paid what you deserve. And we want to be defining this information as well. Now, there's a lot of discussion about, do I put my prices on my website? Do I not put my prices on my website? What do I do? Linda's going to talk about all of that on Friday. Whether you decide to put them on your website or not, I want you to define them. I want you to clearly outline, this is what you do. Because what happens when we don't clearly define our prices and what we do, we run into the trap of being super flexible on our prices, and that is never good. I have talked with some entrepreneurs who have charged this price to one client and this price to another client and this price to another client, and it gets very confusing, and you don't really understand exactly what your value is and what you're providing. So what I want you to do is to define what your prices are going to be. And here's how this is going to be a contract with yourself. When you define your prices, your discount policy, yes, define your discount policy. If you offer discounts for any reason, make sure you're clear about what those discounts are long before you ever offer the discount. And if you don't want to offer discounts, that is okay too. You don't have to offer discounts. Define all of that up front. Put it in writing somewhere where it's easily accessible for you, where you can refer back to it and say, this is what I do, and do not ever deviate from the prices that you have set. When it's time to make changes to your prices, then you can define that. Then you can go in and you can look at things and do some number crunching and think about things and how you consider and what it's a good time. But don't be wishy-washy with your prices. You have something of value to offer and you deserve to get paid for it. So don't be wishy-washy with your prices. Define them as it is. So those are my tips on creating your website as a contract with yourself. And just to reiterate a little bit, I know I was a little bit kind of excited about this topic today because it's a powerful topic for me, and I just really wanted to share this information with you. But just to kind of recap what we have, the first thing that I want you to do is to clearly define what it is that you do and how you do it. Put this in writing, build it into your website, and do not deviate from it. Don't offer anything more or anything less, because to do so is a disservice to your business, and it's going to make things very confusing in the long run. The next thing that I want you to do is to define when you are available. When are you going to be available for your customers, and when you're available for your administrative tasks. Put your business hours on your website so that people know when you're available, and so they're not expecting you to respond to you at Saturday night at 11 or whatever the case is. Define that put it on the website. You can even go so far as to define consultation hours. I have consultations on Monday. That's it. Those are my consultation hours. The rest of the week I'm available during my business hours, but not for defined consultations. Define it, put it on the website, and stick to it. And then finally, define your value, define your prices, your discount policy, the discounts you're willing to offer, if any at all. Put that in writing and make it super accessible, because in doing so, you are going to start creating a solid foundation for your business that is going to take you to that next level of success that you deserve. So with that, if anybody has any questions, please pop in and share with them, or comments or anything you'd like to share. I would love to hear what you have. And I just want to take this moment to thank you guys for joining me here. I know I did a lot of hype on this week's videos because I'm just really excited about this topic. I want you to feel confident and secure in what you do as a business owner. I want you to feel incredible about what you have to offer. And I want you to be able to do it in a way that does not exhaust your resources of time, of money, of self-care, or anything else. Those are all super important to me. And so I hope you have gotten something amazing out of this discussion that we've had here today. And then if you're catching it on the replay, feel free to pop over to my website, teresashaloop.com. In the blog post area, you'll see a replay and a recap if you like to read instead of watching videos. And you will be able to see that, catch that on later on today. And then this afternoon, I will also be adding this into my LinkedIn in the blog post area. You can catch it there as well. If you're on LinkedIn, I would love to connect. Send me an invite. I'm just Teresa Shaloop on LinkedIn and would love to connect with you guys. So thank you all so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your day. Feel free to send some warm thoughts to me. I'm struggling a little bit being buried in the snow still. But until I see you again on Friday when we have Linda joining us, I hope you guys have an amazing, successful, and wonderful day. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.